I've got an easy junk journal tutorial for you today, and I am showing you this super cute mini matchbook and 3 ways to bind it, including an epic fail that I recover from, and show you how to do that too. Here we go, y'all. Well, hello and welcome to Pink Paper Peppermints. My name is Melissa and I'm so glad you're here. Today we are making this mini matchbook junk journal. It is from my new creation mini matchbook junk journal kit that you see there. And I just want to show you how to put together the cover and the pages today. And I'm going to show you 3 fun ways to bind it as well. So I had some questions about how to make my printables double-sided, and basically it's really simple. You're going to print the one side, so in this case the cover, and this kit comes with 11 pattern papers. So you just choose the pattern paper you want and you print that on the back side. So you'll put your paper back in. Depending on how your printer prints, you may need to put your cover face up or face down, and you'll have to test that on your printer. But that's how you make them double-sided. You just print the pattern paper on the back. So these are some of the junk journal pages that come with the kit, and you can see on the back there I've printed the ledger pattern paper that comes in the kit, and so those pages will all be double-sided with the ledger paper on the back side when you open it up like that. And this kit comes with 22 different junk journal pages. That's one of my favorites there, that little Dutch girl. And 11 pattern papers. It comes with 30 pieces of ephemera and tags and labels. And this is a pocket page, and I'm going to show you how to put that together in just a minute. And I've also included these lined and graph paper blank type pages in case you just want room for journaling. And I've got some pattern paper on the back there. Here is our ephemera, and you can see that there are tags and labels and word art and all kinds of fun things in the ephemera kit. Here are some more tags and labels, and I love those blank lined labels, those vintagey labels. These are mini junk journal cards, or mini journal cards, I should say, that are just a little bit smaller than regular sized journal cards so that they will fit on the 4x4 pages of this junk journal. And new for this kit, I have coin envelopes. There are 2 in the kit. I've just got one here because I've already made the other one. Super simple to put together. You're just going to score on the lines and fold and glue, and then you have coin envelopes. And I'll be doing some more of those in future kits because those came out really cute. And all of the ephemera, almost all of the ephemera will fit in these envelopes because it's sized for this 4x4 junk journal. Now, this is a bonus sheet that comes only in the kit in the first week that it's available, and that's going to be the last week of April will be the first week that this kit is available. So you will receive this bonus set in your kit if you purchase in that first week, and it's got 2 pockets and 3 tags and a little mini square envelope. And this set also coordinates with my new creation flashcard set, and so the colors will all coordinate. You can use the tabs and the cards and the tags, and it's got some gingham papers with it. The mini flashcards are sized that they will fit on these 4x4 pages as well if you want to include some of those in the kit. So we've got all of our pieces cut out here, and I forgot to show you the page wraps that also come in the kit. There are 3 mini page wraps, and they have scripture and blank that fit the 4x4 pages. And of course you could cut those apart and use them as ephemera as well. And so here are my pages. I've got them all cut out as well and just haven't folded them yet. And I wanted to show you real quick, these are 2 of the pattern papers from the kit, and I've just printed them back to back. So I've created a double-sided pattern paper for myself, and I used the pages as a template to create another page for my journal from that pattern paper. So that's one of the ways that you could use that pattern paper. So I'm going to show you 3 ways to bind your mini matchbook junk journal, and it's really simple. First, you want to fold it along these top lines, and we're going to create like a 1-inch top spine there for the matchbook, and all we're going to do is fold it. And you could use a bone folder and a scoring board if you wanted to. I just use my fingers usually because I can't find my bone folder. But when I know where it is, I use my bone folder. But you could also use the back of a spoon if you don't have a bone folder or a pencil. You just want really nice crisp folds on those top lines, and you can visually see where those are. Now, the bottom portion I've made extra long in case you have a very thick junk journal, which I know that I will because I always do. If you have a thinner junk journal, you're going to want a smaller part at the bottom there for me, I'm going to show you here, I'm going to fold it up like this. I'm going to open it back, and then I'm going to fold it down again, creating about a 1/2 inch little mini spine there at the bottom, because I know that I'm going to have a lot of pages and I'm going to need that to be really large. If you're going to do a smaller book and you don't need as much room at the bottom, you're going to need a shorter amount of paper there. So that's why I've made that extra long at the bottom for you to size it for the size that your book is. And you can see on that one, it's super thin, and so we don't need it as big. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And you may already know how to do this, but I just wanted to give you a couple of options for binding this mini matchbook. And you can see I've printed out some of my pages. I put a little label on the front, and this one is going to be kind of like a little notebook. Now this book the cover is 4.5 inches long or tall, and so the center is going to be at about 2.25 inches, and I'm just going to mark that and line up my book with that, and then I'm going to use some binder clips to clip the book open after I've lined it up to my cover. And I am using a Japanese screw punch to punch my holes, and I love it. It's so easy to punch holes with. It will go through quite a bit, and then you can punch the hole anywhere on your paper. And I'm just making 3 holes. The 2 side holes I'm doing about a 1/2 inch in from the pages, and I'm using that Japanese screw punch to punch those holes. And so now I've got those 3 holes in the center of my spine, and I'm using seam binding to bind my pages in. I love seam binding. I love how crinkly and pretty it is, and how you can dye it different colors. And I like to do a really, really long piece because I like to wrap it around at the end, which I'm going to show you in just a minute. I'm using a tapestry needle, and you just fold that ribbon in half and put it through the needle. And we're going to start on the outside of the book because I want my ribbon to end on the outside. And so we go through, and I'm just kind of making sure I have a nice long tail, because this tail is going to wrap around my book as a closure. So I usually do about 5 times the width of the book so that I have lots of room. And then after we pull that in, we're going to go into the left hole on the inside and pull through and flip it over. We're going to cross that middle hole and go into that other hole on the end, pull that through, and you may need to adjust the ribbon a little bit. You can see it kind of gets twisted up if you go too fast, and so you just want to adjust it if that matters to you. Sometimes I don't adjust it and I think it's fine. I'll twist it up, but if you want it nice and straight, just kind of play with it until you get it straight. It's a little bit different than using twine or string, which is going to be straight automatically. And so now I've got that on the inside, and then the last one, we're going to go back through that middle hole, flip your cover over, and just look and make sure that you bring that on the other side of that center piece of ribbon and pull that through. And then I just pull it a little tight to make sure. You could tie it in a knot around that center ribbon if you wanted to, but I don't really find that necessary. It's not going to really come out. I'm not that rough with my book that it's going to come out, and it's a mini book. So now we're going to take off the clips, and we're going to adjust that bottom flap of our matchbook, and then I'll show you how we're going to wrap that ribbon around. So because this is not a very thick book, I don't need quite as wide of a piece at the end, so I'm going to measure out about 1/2 inch plus just a little bit extra, and we're going to cut off the excess there, and I'm going to fold it all the way up, and then I'm going to open it out, and then I'm going to fold it up about 1/2 inch, and this is going to create that little mini spine just like we did on the other one, but instead of 1/2 inch, I'm giving myself about 1/4 inch there, maybe even a little less than that, because I don't have a really thick book that I'm working with. So you can see there that I've done that, and that's created our little mini matchbook. And now I'm just going to wrap my seam binding around for my closure. And I really like to wrap it around several times and then tie a big pretty bow on it. And there is our 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So now I'm going to show you, if you're doing a really thin book, maybe just kind of a notebook type, you can bind it in at the bottom like a traditional matchbook would be. And that's, you're just going to staple it. You're going to put the binding of the book down at the bottom, and you're going to staple it a couple of times as close to the bottom as you can. And then you can tuck that cover right into it, just like a regular matchbook. And that's only going to work if you have a relatively thin little book. That's not going to work for a big fat junk journal like I'm about to do here. So I've got all my pages folded, and I've got 2 signatures of 7 pages each, actually 6 in the top one because the 7th page is going to be my pocket page. And I just wanted to show you how to do that. On the pocket page, I've printed the pink tickets on the back, but you could choose any of the pattern papers that you wanted for the back. And then you're just going to flip it over with that pattern paper, and you're going to fold your pocket side up, and you'll be able to see the line easily, and you're just going to press in the center and press out toward the edges, and that creates your pocket. And then you're just going to either use adhesive or staples, or what I like to do is sew up my sides to create that pocket and place it in your signature with the rest of the pages. So I've got 2 signatures, and I had originally thought I was going to use rubber bands. And if you remember my Heart of Thanksgiving mini book, we used rubber bands, and that worked great, but it was about half the size of this book. And so I got all ready. I punched my holes at the top of and bottom of the spine, and I put the rubber bands on, and I could feel that it didn't feel like it was gonna work very well, and I put that second one on, and it just crushed it. And so I realized, hey, that is not gonna work. So we're gonna have to do something different. We're gonna improvise, and we are going to use 2mm beading elastic, and we're basically just gonna make our own rubber band. And the reason that we're doing it this way instead of a traveler's notebook style, which you could do, is that I wanted to make a ribbon binding. So I've tied those 2 elastics, and I've slipped my signatures in, and I'm going to show you the ribbon binding that I'm talking about. And again, if you participated in Heart of Thanksgiving, you remember we did like a little mini ribbon binding, and we're going to do that this time just on a little bit larger scale. So you just need a huge pile of about 4 to 6 inch pieces of ribbon, tulle, fabric, just all the different things that you want to use for your pretty binding, and you're just going to tie it in a little square knot around your elastics. And it's that simple. You just fill up those elastics with ribbon and fabric and tulle, and you just create the prettiest full ribbon binding by doing that. And if you didn't want to do that, you could use a traveler's notebook style where the elastic was on the inside. And I've got a video which I'll link for you to see that style. So those are my 3 ways to bind your book. In my next video, I'm going to show you how to decorate the pages and some tips and ideas and some pocket ideas that I haven't shown you yet. Can you believe there are more pocket ideas? In the meantime, I hope you have a day filled with peace and grace, and I'll see you next time here on Pink Paper Peppermints.